Hello, good morning, student. How are you? I hope you all are happy, healthy, and fine at home. So, what did we discuss yesterday? We discussed about the stabilization of carbocations. What are the factors affecting the stability of that carbocation? Number one, we have seen inductive effect. Second one is a resonance effect. Third one is a hyperconjugative effect. By applying these effects, how that carbocation get stabilized, we have seen step by step. Today we are going to discuss the next point. What is the next point? The next point will be this one: how to know whether a given reaction will follow SN1 mechanism or SN2 mechanism. So that is the main point, because so far we have learned SN1 and SN2 reaction. Only up till now we know that primary halide undergoes as a SN2 mechanism, whereas a tertiary alkyl halide undergoes as a SN1 mechanism. But in yesterday's lecture we have seen benzylic system is an exception. That benzylic system is a primary alkyl halide, but it undergoes as a SN1 reaction. Because this is an exception, primary alkyl halide should follow the SN2 mechanism, not the SN1. But benzylic system, even though it is a primary halide, that undergoes SN1 mechanism. The reason behind it, whatever carbocation is formed after departing the leaving group is well stabilized due to the resonance effect, and that's why even though benzylic system is a primary alkyl halide, it shows SN1 mechanism, right? And now today, how to know whether a given reaction will follow SN1 mechanism or SN2 mechanism. Careful study of different SN1 and SN2 mechanism shows that whether a given reaction will follow SN1 mechanism or SN2 mechanism depends upon following 4 factors. Which are those? Let us see here. Following 4 factors. Number 1, effect of structure, effect of structural of substrate, effect of structure of substrate. First one is a effect of structure of substrate. So that is one of the factor. From that we can clearly understood that whether the given reaction follow SN1 mechanism or SN2 mechanism. As a primary stage, primary alkyl halide undergoes SN2 reaction, whereas if the substrates are tertiary alkyl halide, it should undergo SN1 mechanism. So that is the first factor. Second factor, effect of nature of living, effect of nature nature of living group. Nature of living group. That is the second factor. From that we can easily find out whether the given reaction follows SN1 mechanism or SN2 mechanism. Now let's see third one, effect of nature of nucleophiles. Effect of nature of nucleophiles. Effect of nature of nucleophile, that is one of the important factor which can shows whether the given reaction will follow SN1 mechanism or SN2 mechanism. And now is the fourth factor, which is effect of nature of solvent. Effect of nature of solvent. Effect of nature of solvent. These are the four factors which decide whether the given reaction will follow SN1 mechanism or SN2 mechanism. Let us begin with the first one, that is the effect of structure of substrate, or we can also use the synonym word here. What is that? The effect of nature of substrate. Whether it is a nature means whether it is a primary alkyl halide or the tertiary alkyl halide. So effect of structure of substrate. Let us see here, if the structure of the substrate is one of the important factor governing the type of mechanism operating, the nature of the alkyl group of the substrate exerts a profound effect on which the mechanism is to be followed. The factors are operating. There are two factors are operating. One is a steric hindrance and second one is a stabilization of positive charge. First one is a steric hindrance and second one stabilization of positive charge. These are the two factors which operating on a structure of the substrate. Let us see, first one is a steric factor. First one is a steric factor. As we know that, suppose we have here Br. Now I am representing the molecule on the basis of Wey's formula. I am showing here 3 atoms by normal line. Hydrogen atom, carbon atom and bromine atom, they are lying in the same plane. One hydrogen atom I am showing by, this bond is showing by dotted line, which clearly indicate that this hydrogen atom goes below the plane. Now another hydrogen atom I am showing over here, which comes above the plane. Now here what is happening here? The nucleophile OH minus prefer to attack from backside and there will be a departure of living group. So least steric hindrance here. Here what is happening here? Least steric hindrance. Less steric hindrance. Whereas suppose we have this one CBr, and then let us see one of the methyl group I am showing by the normal line. Again methyl group, carbon and the bromine, they are lying in the same plane. One of the methyl group I am showing by dotted line, this methyl group. Another methyl group I am showing here by the thick line CS3. Now the nucleophile which is attacking from the back side, and there is a departure of leaving group. Look at over here, this methyl group is a bulky group, they creating the lot of steric interaction over there, and therefore more steric hindrance, backside attack difficult. Here is a more steric hindrance, more steric hindrance, therefore backside attack is a difficult. Backside attack difficult. Here backside attack is difficult, here least steric hindrance, but here backside attack is a favorable. Backside attack favorable here. Backside attack is a favorable because the size of that hydrogen atom is very smaller, and therefore nucleophile approaches from the backside, and we are getting this one is a least steric hindrance, and this due to the nature of that R group is a bulky, there is a lot of crowding systems are there, and then we are getting formation of the transition state. Here what is happening? Formation of the transition state HO dot this carbon again dash Br, one of the hydrogen I am showing you over here, and this one of the hydrogen atom and one of the hydrogen atom, and this is a what we can call it as a least crowded transition state. This one is a least crowded transition state. This is a least crowded transition state. Here minus 1/2 delta, here minus 1/2 delta, because this dotted line clearly indicate that the bond is going to form, where this dotted line clearly indicate that the bond is going to break. This is the transition state formed during that for SN2 reaction, and when this is SN2 reaction can take place here, suppose is a Br, let us assume over here HO, then one of the methyl group is here. Now one of the methyl group I am showing like this, another methyl group will be like this, and now most crowded transition state here. Here is a most crowded transition state form over there. Here is a minus 1/2 delta charge, minus 1/2 delta charge. This is the most crowded, and if you look at this transition state, there is a 5 bond around this carbon atom, and therefore there are the lot of steric interactions are there, and therefore this nucleophilic attacking from the back side is a highly difficult, but in this case there is a least crowded transition state, and these are the possibility, and therefore this type of the reaction undergoes by the SN2 reaction, and therefore in SN1 reaction, as the crowding at alpha carbon atom increases, the plus I inductive effect goes on increasing. When the plus I inductive effect goes on increasing, the carbocation form is get stabilized due to that methyl group, as well as when the transition state that carbocation is formed, that there is a change in the hybridization occur. The bond angle the tetrahedral bond angle for sp3 hybridization 109.5 it changes to 120. There is a relief in a angle strain, and due to this reason that type of the compound should go the what we can call it as SN1 type of the reaction. Now let us look at here one of the table for hydrolysis of that rate of the reaction, the relative SN1 and SN2 rates for the reaction. The relative, this point we are learning the relative rates for SN1 and SN2 reactions. Let us see here generally RBr plus OH minus produce ROH plus Br minus leaving group. This is the general. When this R is going to change over here, let me draw one table over here, and by the inspection of this table, what do you get? Let us see over here. First one, there is a R, then SN1 rate, then SN2 rate we are determining here, and R suppose is a methyl group, then how much is the rate find. Then suppose there will be a ethyl group, how much is a rate find. And then suppose there is a CS3 CH3, how much is a rate found over here, CS3, then tertiary CS3 here, that we are going to determine over here. Suppose your starting compound is a methyl group, how much rate for SN1 reaction is found to be 105, whereas for SN2 rate is found to be 30. Means primary alkyl halide always goes, suppose the nature of R is a methyl group, that always undergoes as a SN2 reaction. If that if you replace R by CS3CH2 ethyl group, the rate of reaction is found to be 1.0 over here, and here is found as a 12. So that is the rate of reaction is found in this case. When the isopropyl group is there, the SN1 rate of the SN1 reaction is found to be 12 in this case, whereas for SN2 reaction it is found to be 0.025. And if you look at the nature of R group gone changing, means the bulkiness or crowding goes on increasing, the SN2 reaction goes on decreasing, whereas SN1 reaction, rate of SN1 reaction is goes on increasing. Here is found to be 12 lakh 00, and here is found to be 0.00001. These are the rate. These are the experimental proof or the experimental rate determining by the scientists, and they have provided this type of the data to us, and from that clearly this SN1 reaction, look at 12 lakh is there. If tertiary halides are there, they always follows SN1 reaction. Now let us look at the graph is obtained by plotting rate versus this type of the nature of the alkyl group. Let us see here, this is a graph, the rate of reaction for SN1 and SN2 rate reaction versus there is a primary alkyl halide, or the graph is obtained like this. This you can show this one. This is for, let me draw first, and then I am going to explain you till wait here, then this one, then here you are going to get this one. This is a primary alkyl halide, this is for ethyl primary alkyl halide, and here SN2 reaction, whereas this one is a SN1 reactions. There is a isopropyl group, that is a secondary, and this will be the tertiary. So by inspection of this graph, what type of the conclusion we can draw? For primary alkyl halide there will be a SN2 reaction, whereas for tertiary it always follow the SN1 reaction. It always follow the SN1 reaction. This is all about the how to know whether the given reaction will follow SN1 mechanism or the SN2 reaction, by observing the structure of the substrate or the nature of the substrate. Suppose the less hindered substrate, it always follow the SN2 mechanism, whereas if the substrate structure of the substrate is a crowdy, it always follow the SN1 mechanism. So that type of the conclusion we can draw here. Now second one is a stabilization of the positive charge. Stabilization of the positive charge, if the carbonium ion is stabilized either by inductive, resonance and hyperconjugative conjugation effect for the molecule, prefer to react by SN1 rather than the SN2 reaction. Second point is first point we have seen as a steric hindrance. Second factor is the stabilization of the positive charge. If the positive charge get stabilized by inductive effect, resonance effect or the hyperconjugative effect, the rate of reaction or the rate of reaction follows SN1 mechanism rather than the SN2 mechanism. So this is the first effect we have completed over here. Second one we will see effect of the leaving group in the next lecture. Let us stop today here. Thank you. Have a nice day.